Welcome to Mimi's Storytime, reading children's books.
Books in this episode are The Pout-Pout Fish Cleans the Ocean, What Pet Should I Get? Moana, A Path to the Sea.
To the Oregon Coast Aquarium. And there is a lot of information in this book. I hope you'll enjoy it. Let's get to it. The ocean is amazing. Mr. Fish's grin was wide. The beautiful surroundings left him wonderstruck inside. His head was full of happy and his heart was full of awe. But his smile sank away when he turned around and saw a big mess. Whatever could it be? But he couldn't really tell, so he talked with a friend who had noticed it as well. There's a problem that needs solving, and I don't know what to do, but I'm going to find some answers. Would you like to join me too? Absolutely, said Miss Shimmer, as she grabbed a few supplies. They'd travel to the mystery mess and see with their own eyes. Swimming off, they were enchanted by the ocean big and bright, but looming in the distance was that dark, dismal sight. A big mess. What's it made of? They both wondered, and they pondered this out loud. Around them others gathered, in a small but growing crowd. There's a problem that needs solving, and we don't know what to do, but we're going to find some answers. Would you like to join us too? Count us in, said Mr. Seahorse, and he powered up his rig. Enthusiasm bubbled. Yes, the group was getting big. They jetted through the ocean in a peaceful sort of bliss, but the thing that stretched before them was impossible to miss. A big mess. Who will fix it? Fish were asking, hoping someone else would know. There was lots of conversation as they traveled with the flow. There's a problem that needs solving, and we don't know what to do, but we're going to find some answers. Would you like to join us too? All as one, said Mrs. Squid as she swished away some junk. The group continued forward toward the nearing pile of gunk. They reached the mystery mess. They took measurements and samples. They made notes. They did research. They found similar examples. When everyone was finished, they assembled to discuss. They came to one conclusion. The problem is us. We made the big mess. They froze in disbelief. Then they all began to shout, feeling troubled and uneasy, and some began to pout. Were they stuck with us forever? Could it worsen? Would it grow? Mr. Fish was worried too, but there's one thing that I know. It's awful that we caused it, but this bad news can be good, for it means that we can solve it if we all agree we should. Silence filled the ocean. Their future was at stake. It is a moment of decision, but which one would they make? A big yes! We can do it, they exclaimed. Positively, yes and yup. So they all pitched in together and they cleaned the ocean up. They gathered up the garbage with the help of everyone. They worked to fix and remedy the damage that they'd done. Then they talked about new habits, how to travel with less trace, and reduce their use of plastic and to put trash into its place. Problems have solutions, so we learn what we can do. Together, we're the answer. Would you like to join us too? What a great book! The Pout-Pout Fish Cleans Up the Ocean. I loved it. I hope you liked it too. All right, book number 2 for today. What Pet Should I Get? It's a Dr. Seuss book. What pet should I get? We want a pet. We want a pet. What kind of pet should we get? Dad said we could have one. He said he would pay. We went to the pet shop. I went there with Kay. And so we went in. I took one fast look. I saw a fine dog who shook hands, so we shook. So I said, I want him. But then Kay saw a cat. She gave it a pat. And she said, I want that. Then Kay said, now, what do you think we should do? Dad said to pick one. We cannot take home two. Then what do you know? We saw two other kinds. Now how could Kay and I make up our minds? A pup and a kitten. They looked like good fun. Now which one should we pick? We could only pick one. Make up your mind. The cat or the dog? The kitten or the pup? Oh boy, it is something to make a mind up. Then I looked all around. I saw something with wings. I said, look at him. We can pick one that sings. But then, look over there, said my sister Kay. We can go home with a rabbit today. Then I looked at Kay. I said, what will we do? I like all the pets that I see. So do you. We have to pick one pet and pick it out soon. You know Mother told us to be back by noon. And I could have done it. I bet. I could have said what pet we should get. But you know what Kay did? Do you know what she did? She said, fish, 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 fish. It may be a fish is the pet that we wish. Then I saw a new kind, and they were good too. How can I pick one? Now what should we do? We could only pick one. That is what my dad said. But how could I make up my mind? That mind in my head? Make up your mind. Pick a pet fast. Pick one out soon. Mother and Dad said to be home by noon. The time may be now to make up my mind, but who knows what other good pets I might find. I might find a new one, a fast kind of thing, who would fly around my head in a ring on a string. Yes, that would be fun, but our house is so small, this thing on a string would bump into the wall. My mother, I know, would not like that at all. So maybe some other good kind of pet, another kind maybe, is what we should get. We might find a new kind, a pet who is tall, a tall pet who fits in a space that is small. My mother might like this pet best of them all. If we had a big tent, then we would be able to take home a yent. Dad would like us to have a good yent, but how do I know he would pay for a tent? So you see how it is when you pick out a pet? How can you make up your mind what to get? But what if we took one of each kind of pet? Then our house would be full of the pets we could get. No, Dad would be mad. We could only have one. If we do not choose, we will end up with none. I will do it right now. I will do it, I said. I will make up my mind. That is up in my head. The dog or the rabbit, the fish or the cat. I picked one out fast, and then that was that. It doesn't tell you which one he picked. What pet should I get? The question remains unanswered. Okay. For our third book, I'm actually going to read one story out of this collection of princess stories. Let's see which one we should start with. The very first story is A Path to the Sea about Moana. Moana loved the ocean. She loved swimming, canoeing, and walking along the shore. When Moana was old enough, Grandma Tala taught her how to surf, and Moana spent a lot of time trying to ride the waves. After paddling into the ocean, she would float on her board and wait. Then, when the right wave came along, she would pop up and stand on her surfboard. One day, as Moana and Pua waited for a wave, a sea turtle paddled toward them. He swam directly up to Moana and looked right at her. She watched as he floated beside her. "Hello," she said. There was something familiar about this sea turtle, but Moana couldn't figure out where or when she had met him before. It was almost as though she'd known him since she was a little girl. The sea turtle stayed with Moana and Pua, playing with them in the water all day long. When Moana surfed, the turtle seemed to do the same beside her, even letting Pua stand on his back. "You like to surf too," Moana said, smiling at the sea turtle. She thought for a moment. "I will call you Lolo." For many days, whenever Moana and Pua went to the ocean, Lolo found them. They had fun swimming, surfing, and playing in the waves. One day, Moana stayed on the shore until dark to watch the ocean sparkle with moonlight. "I knew I would find you here," said Grandma Tala, joining Moana on the beach. The two walked under the stars, picking up seashells along the way, until Moana noticed Lolo swimming toward the shore. They watched as the sea turtle crawled up into the sand and over toward the coconut trees. There, Lolo started digging a hole. "Does he need help?" Moana asked. Grandma Tala shook her head, and the two continued to watch quietly until Lolo covered the hole and went back into the water. What was he doing, Grandma?" asked Moana. "She, you mean," Grandma Tala said with a laugh. Moana gasped in surprise. "Your turtle friend just laid her eggs in the hole she dug," Grandma Tala said. "Generations of sea turtles lay their eggs right there." She told Moana how the baby turtles made their way to the ocean after hatching, and when the females grow up, they come back to lay their eggs, she added. "How do they remember that spot?" Moana asked. "And how do the babies even know to go to the ocean?" "They just know," said Grandma Tala. Moana understood. They listened to their hearts. "That's right," Grandma Tala said proudly. Moana checked the nesting grounds every day. She wondered when the baby turtles would hatch and hoped she would get to see them. One day, Moana and Pua were surfing when the sky turned gray. They quickly paddled to shore, and as the rain poured down, they raced back to the village. When they got home, they watched the trees bend and sway as they listened to the music of the raindrops. Soon after the storm was over, the sun came out. Moana grabbed her surfboard and hurried back to the ocean. When she got there, she couldn't believe her eyes. The storm had knocked a coconut tree right on top of the nesting grounds. Luckily, the eggs were safely buried deep underground. But what if the baby turtles hatch? She wondered. They could be trapped. Moana had to do something fast. She ran back to the village and told her friends what had happened. "The eggs will hatch any day," she explained. Her friends agreed to help, and Moana led them to the site. They all worked together to carefully clear the fallen tree. But then, suddenly, they heard a loud crack. Another palm tree had been damaged in the storm, and it was about to fall onto the site. "Hurry," urged Moana. "Let's push it away from the nest." Everyone grabbed around the broken tree. They used all their strength to push until it finally snapped and fell. "We did it," cheered Moana, breathing a sigh of relief. The next day, Moana and Grandma Tala were dancing with the ocean waves when Moana saw something move in the nesting grounds. "Grandma, look," she said excitedly. "Lolo's eggs were hatching." They watched as the baby sea turtles made their way out of the nest. When a seabird swooped in and tried to capture one of the baby turtles, Moana waved her arms and Pua chased the bird away. Moana and her friends protected the newborns. Determined to see that each and every one made it safely to the water. Later that day, when Moana and Pua went surfing, Lolo and her little sea turtles swam around them, paddling and playing together. Moana smiled. She felt great knowing that she had helped Lolo's sea turtles. And there was no better way to celebrate than by enjoying the ocean together. That was a Disney princess story, A Path to the Sea, from our 5-minute princess stories. And that was 3 stories. So that concludes this episode. Thank you for watching Mimi's Storytime. I'll see you next time.